So, I have a few minutes before I have to leave for my new job that I've had for a week. And I just want to talk briefly about how we conduct our lives. It's fairly paramount these days that people are not living them like they should and are not appreciating the freedoms that they have depending on where they live. And I don't know, I don't know that it irks me, it disturbs me in that there's people that truly don't appreciate the fact that they even have life going on, okay? And say that their freedom is gone. Well, I have to disagree with that statement, and here's some of the reasoning why. Are there a lot more restrictions in the world all the way around? Yeah, there are. There's a lot more restrictions going on in multiple countries these days. And there are a couple of countries in existence where being a citizen is problematic at best. North Korea is a good example of that. If you're a tourist and you go to North Korea and you're anything but a typical tourist, your life is on the line, really. If you're a celebrity, don't even bother. But there's only a couple countries that are really like that. And the reason I say that is, even in socialist countries, people have the ability to do plenty of things in life that can be fulfilling. And, good examples of that are the former USSR. There's Russia, obviously, that was a part of that. But there's a ton of countries that were part of the Federation. Excuse me. That they have plenty of freedom. And, communism in that particular block of countries is gone, but the mentality of the people to work as a community as opposed to individual is still very strong. But you're still able to do a lot of your own stuff. And I think that that's lost with a fair amount of people. Like, people truly believe that they have no ability to do anything anymore. Like, take for instance my country, America. Everybody's like, oh, freedom of speech is going away, this and that. I've seen Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. You're fucked. There's still plenty of freedom. Y'all still say plenty of shit. The place where it goes wrong is when you go in public and you fuck around with each other, and God forbid one of you decides to be fucking violent. And that's where you get into issues. There's plenty of shit in this country you can do freely without repercussion. And it hasn't mattered who is in the administration. You have that freedom as a human being to do basic things and fulfill your life that will never get the ire or attention of a official organization within any government around the world. I can go out of my house on a daily basis and do one of half a dozen things that I could even conceive of off the top of my head, and do them without any thought of legality, because they're perfectly legal to do. That's freedom. I mean, it's the essence of freedom. And yeah, speech is a thing that around the world is being attacked, obviously, but at the point we're at now, we still have plenty of what we can do available to us left. We're not stuttered to the point where when we walk out of the front door, we have to think about every single waking moment we're doing something. And that's regardless of race. The only time you really are having to worry about your freedom is when you're doing something fucking stupid. I mean, that's really what it amounts to. So, anywhere you are in the world, if you see this, your life is what you make of it. It doesn't matter what kind of money you have, what car you're driving, the type of house you're in, your job. These things are consequential to what you do in life. They are not your life, okay? They are things that improve aspects of your life, but they are not your life. And the reason that we get unhappy and unsatisfied is we're so used to seeing things in society that tell us we need this or we need that. We don't need any of that. We don't need it. We can have it and appreciate it, but we don't truly need it. I'm the kind of person that I love to have things, but I don't need to have things. I don't like to have a lot because then I become responsible for a lot. You know, I mean, I spend just over $1,000 on this 800-something square foot apartment that, in all honesty, is a shit apartment, but it's right next to 2 major freeways. All the shopping I could do, all the restaurants are within driving distance, and some are in walking distance. I mean, I have amazing freedom for where I live, and I'm cool with that. Now, an opportunity might present itself later that I live somewhere else, and that's well and good if it does. But I don't have a bunch of shit, and I'm perfectly content on a lot of levels. I've been through a lot of shit in 45 years, so for me to feel fulfilled in life and content is a fairly simple matter. I've ascended beyond that need to have a bunch of shit in order to feel fulfilled. My fulfillment is how I interact with people, even my friends that I don't see on a regular basis. And if I've made an impact on somebody's life in a positive way. I try very hard now not to make a negative impact. You know, it happens in life sometimes, but I try not to let that happen. I try to do as much as I can on my own to where I feel fulfilled when I come home every day after whatever I'm doing. And I say, you know what, I did all right today. That's my contentment. My contentment is being able to sit down at the end of the day, look into my girlfriend's eyes and say, you know, I don't have it too bad. I may not have a lot of money, but this is kind of a cool life at my age. I would like to have certain things to fulfill pieces of my life, like, for instance, a boat so I can fish on a lake as opposed to from the side of it. But it's not a necessity. And to me, it's the necessities at this point in time that matter. And like even with my new job, I mean, I've been there literally since last Tuesday. And I believe I've done good for what I've done so far. Do I like my job? I really don't like working, period. But I'm a hard worker. So I have certain ethics when it comes to work. I don't want to do it anymore, but I don't have retirement, so I kind of have no choice. So, I mean, I have to pay basic bills. That's just a part of life. But I appreciate everything that I have. Everything. I appreciate opportunities that I've been given. And this is a big part of fulfillment in my life. And more people need to be cognizant of what they're doing within the confines of their countries to be able to fulfill their lives better than they do if they're not content. Because contentment is something that comes when you do something that you love, or have something in your life that you love, and you can accomplish that because of what you do in life to afford to do that. And the people that you have in your life. It doesn't come from having all these material things. You know, I look at is it Abu Dhabi, Dubai, United Arab Emirates, all these oil countries that they have so much ridiculous money. And yet there are parking lots, and I'm not kidding you, I've seen documentaries on this. There are parking lots where there are thousands of abandoned supercars that are anywhere from $100,000 to $1 million cars that are sitting with dust covering them because somebody got bored or they couldn't pay for it, so they abandoned it. I don't understand that mentality. I have a 2009 Lancer that gets me from point A to point B with some style that's paid off, and I'm content. Would I like to have something like a truck to pull a boat around in a boat? Yeah, I would, but you know what? It's not a necessity, and that's one of the line draws that I have. But as far as freedoms go, I have plenty of freedoms. I have the freedom to walk out of any job that I want to walk out of if I get it because I don't like it. But then I have the freedom to not have the income because I've left the job. I have the freedom to be with my girlfriend or not. There's lots of things I have the freedom of. I have the freedom to buy pretty much anything if I can make the income to make it happen. But I don't all the time. I have an Xbox 360 of the white ones left over from the last of the white ones that's like 12, 13 years old and works perfectly fine. I haven't bought a system yet since. So, it just is what it is. Contentment is what you do and feel compelled to feel good about in your life. And it's an emotional and mindset thing, not monetary, not material. That has nothing to do with it. And you got to get away from this, well, my government's like this, so I can't do this. Bullshit. You can do plenty in your life and be content, no matter how your government is, in 98% of the countries that exist on this planet. And if you're not content, well, then that's on you, not the government.